I did a video a few years ago comparing all the portable breast pumps we had on the market at the time, and it's definitely the most requested video I have from all of you on an update. Now, 4 years later, the market's a lot different. There's a lot of new pumps. Let's do this. Okay. The reason it took me so long to do this update is because this video is so much work. We have spent so much time, money, resources testing all of these breast pumps on our custom built device. We actually have a 2.0 version that's going to be ready so soon. I cannot wait. It's amazing. And anyway, it's going to be really fun. Testing all of it, but then gathering all of it and making sense of it and trying to figure out what's important, what's not important. So please, can I ask you a favor? If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel in honor of all of the hair that I pulled out in preparing and filming this video. I've been putting it off for a very long time because it is just a lot of work. All right, let's do this though. We're going to compare a lot of these pumps based on price, size, suction levels, cycle speeds, functionality, important features, all of that stuff. And then I actually did a poll in our Facebook group where I'm going to tell you what their favorites were, and then I'll rearrange it and tell you my favorites too, which I don't always love to do, but I'll give it to you at the end. Two more quick things before we get started. One, there will be a download available for you in the description with some more detailed information. I just can't share everything in this video. It's going to be super long. I'm going to try and keep it as short and concise as possible. So there's a download for you there. Also, I can almost guarantee that I will have at least one misspeak here. So I am human, and I will pin a comment down in the comment section and put any updates or adjustments that need to be made down in that comment so you can check there just to make sure everything was as accurate as possible. Okay, are you ready? Let's do this. I think in the last video I compared 11 pumps together, but actually several of the pumps I did in that video are obsolete now, no longer readily available or not really on the market. So I'm going to take out a few of these pumps because I went over to my closet and got all the portable pumps I could find, gathered all the data. So a few of these I am going to take out, some good ones that I'm kind of sad to see go. Well, not that one, but let me get this down to the list of 20 or 22 or so that we're going to chat about today. Okay, that was hard, but here we go. We've got a couple of rows of pumps here. So we have a couple from NCVI. I got these on Amazon. They were obviously really inexpensive pumps, like $49, $59 there. iCare, which is another kind of Amazon brand pump, 50. The Freeme pumps kind of came in next. Similry E1, kind of a fun little pump I've been exploring. The Duet by Legendary Milk is somewhere in this area. It's originally, I think, an expensive pump, like $199, something like that. It's been on sale for $99 for quite a while though. The Motif Duo, the gray one, is the one that's now, I just couldn't find it in the moment, in the 100 pumps in my closet. Similry P1, that one's about $150. It's kind of where we're at right now. Unimom Minuet, the Genie Advanced by Pumpables. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's coupon codes for several of these on our website, which kind of like may alter them, but that's okay. Spectre 9, Amita Maya Joy. This is the plus version. Zomi 2, it's a nice little pump. Baby Buddha, Philips Advent. I'm starting to see that one a little bit more. Medela Maxi Swing, or Swing Maxi. Got the Similry 5 Plus. The Annabella, I don't know if you've seen that crazy little pump. We've got another video on the channel on that one. Medela Freestyle Flex. This one comes with collection cups now, so it's hands-free. The LV Stride is going to be in this category. The Medela Freestyle, I had to order this one on eBay. It was kind of hard to find, but I am seeing it via DME companies pretty often now. Arto Alyssa, and then last, the Spectre Dual Compact. Okay, that one comes in about $300, $250, somewhere in there. So that kind of gives you a range of the cost of those. There you go. Oh my goodness, there's actually even more pumps than I realized. So this is going to take a while, but let's talk about suction next, because I know that that's a really popular topic. So give me a second to rearrange these by maximum suction. We're going to start with single pumping suction, and then I'll make some adjustments based on their double suction capabilities, which is an important differentiation to make, especially when you're talking about small portable pumps. Okay, here they're lined up from highest maximum suction all the way to lowest maximum suction, okay? And just so you know, a lot of these are very, very similar. So just because one outranks the other, or even by a lot, doesn't mean that they have that different of maximum suction capabilities, just so you know. Again, this is single-sided pumping. We're gonna do double in just a second, which I think will be really interesting for you to see. So we've got the Spectra 9, crazy. I can get like 330 mmHg on that one sometimes. Baby Buddha, not surprising, very high up there. The Freemy Rose, this one, just a disclaimer, I can only get this really high suction when I use a traditional flange with it. If I use the Freemy cups, it's significantly lower, but the pump itself does a lot. The Genie Advanced from Pumpables, the Duet from Legendary Milk, Eye Care, Spectra Dual Compact, Similary P1. The NCVI pumps had impressively high suction, actually. LV Stride, Ardo Alyssa, Zomi 2, still really good suction on the Zomi 2, let me tell you, like 255 even. Like it's a decent suction there. Again, those are approximates, so don't like marry those numbers or anything. Motif Duo, Similary E1, Similary 5, Maya Joy Plus. Again, in the previous video, the original Mita Maya, I really struggled to get good suction on. The Plus is better. Philips Advent, Medela Swing Maxi, Medela Freestyle Flex, Medela Freestyle, and then the Annabella pump at the end. With the Annabella pump, I can get about 200 mmHg. Again, that's kind of a difficult pump to test, and that's an approximate, which is probably going to be plenty, especially for single-sided, because you'll be surprised how much suction some of these pumps lose when we do double pumping. So let me make some adjustments now. We'll see which ones changed when we start talking about the capabilities of suction when you're double pumping. All right, I was able to take out a few. I don't have all the double pumping data on some of these, so I took a few out. But here's kind of the basics and some of the most popular pumps on the market. So first was the Baby Buddha. That one has really strong suction. And I think when you start with higher suction, you can just get higher suction kind of overall. The Spectra Dual Compact is a dual motor pump, so it has the same suction when you're single or double pumping. Same with the Similary 5 and the Duet. Spectra 9 still held pretty good suction even when double pumping. Eye Care and NCVI pumps did fairly well. Similary P1, Zomi 2, Ardo Alyssa. This one actually has the same single and double pumping as well. It's not a dual motor pump. You can't control it separately, but the technology inside does make it similar. It's the same on single and double. Very impressive little pump there. Medela Swing Maxi, Philips Advent, the Duet, like I mentioned, Similary. LV Stride fell quite a ways down the list. Pumpables Genie Advanced, still plenty of suction on double pumping, but is definitely less when you're double versus single. Similary E1, Medela Freestyle Flex, Amita Maya Joy Plus fell quite a ways when you double pump. And then the Motif Duo, those two on the end there are probably lower on the suction range, especially when double pumping, which most moms are double pumping for the most part. So really interesting to see how things shift a little bit when you start double pumping. Some of them were irrelevant, like the Annabella, you know, you're kind of doing a single side at the same time. I know they just came out with a double pump. I haven't tested that one yet, but an interesting array when you look at the capabilities of double pumping suction. Okay, this next one's probably my favorite because breast pumps are more than just suction, all right? And this is a really important concept to understand, and I think one that gets overlooked a lot. The cycle speeds are what we're gonna do next, and I really enjoy pumps that have a little bit higher cycle speeds, especially in stimulation mode, but I also really like it when you get the option to adjust cycle speeds a little bit. So this one's kind of hard to quantify. We're just gonna go from highest cycle speed available to the lowest. And then I want to point out a few pumps that have some interesting features in relation to cycle speed. This is also an important thing when you are switching between pumps. So if you have more than one pump and they have vastly different cycle speeds, I notice, at least in my practice, that people tend to respond really differently when the cycle speeds are very different, especially for letdowns. Your letdown is a trained reflex. So if you've trained it, for instance, on a Medela Symphony, that's 120 cycles per minute, and then you try and come down to one of these that are going to be low on the lower end, it's going to be a really hard transition for you to, because your letdowns are not used to that. So anyway, let's go high to low, and then we'll talk a little bit more about cycle speed. Okay, cycle speeds. So we're going to start at the top, which is actually the Zomi 2. I can get it to go 200 cycles per minute, which is really, really fast. Also, that pump has an alternating pattern, so it's going left, right, so it feels even faster. It's very, very fast. And CVI also had quite a high cycle speed. Let me look for you. 197, so that one could go really, really fast. We don't see that very often in portable pumps like this. The Freeme Liberty goes quite high, so does this other NCVI pump. The Philips Advent, let me look at that one for you. 122. Okay, so now we're kind of getting more into a more standard realm, I should say. I think this one was 134, 145, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, Medela Swing Maxi. That one was 114. Okay, yeah, so now we're kind of getting, the Medela Symphony is about 120, just so you're aware, which is kind of right here. Medela Freestyle Flex, iCare, Freeme Rose, the Annabella, let's just check in and see where we're at number-wise. Yeah, about 100. Okay, so now we're at 100 cycles per minute here with the Annabella. Legendary Milk Duet, about 100 as well. The Spectra Dual Compact, I believe, is 98. Now, this one does have high cycle speeds in stimulation mode, which is really great, but it has really low cycle speeds in expression mode. Actually, it only has one option, and it's 28 cycles per minute, which is quite low. So while I do love the speed of the cycles on this pump, the expression mode speed is really, really slow. So just a note there. Silmori S5, LV Stride, let me look at that one for you, 92. So we're still right up in that high range. Baby Buddha, Silmori E1, Motif Duo, Ardo Alyssa, let me double check that one for you. Sorry, I have so many notes over here so I don't get these wrong. 74. All right, Spectra 9, I believe, is right around 70, which is the same as the Spectra 1. All of these are in simulation mode, by the way, because that's the fastest cycle speed that a pump will do. Okay, so this is 70, very similar to the Spectra 1. So you can see that all of these pumps so far have higher cycle speed capabilities than the Spectra 1, which is interesting. Pumpables Genie Advance is right there at 70 as well. Silmori P1, and then the Ameda Maya Joy Plus. That one is 58 is the highest. Again, that's a little too slow in my opinion for initiating good letdowns. 70 is kind of the minimum that I see working well. But again, there you go. When you're talking about cycle speeds, especially with portable pumps, it's very common for the speed to be tied to the vacuum, okay? So the Spectra 9 is a good example of this. So it has, you know, stimulation mode and expression mode, very standard. Stimulation mode has the, you know, it's 70 cycles per minute, and, you know, expression mode has, it's whatever. But when you adjust the vacuum higher, the cycle speeds go down. Okay, so it's not like you get to pick a cycle speed and set it there. Especially with portable pumps, a lot of them are tied to the motor. Now, when you're talking about tabletop pumps, like for instance the Spectra 1, just because everyone's really familiar with that one, you can pick the speed you want, and no matter what suction level you put it on, the speed will stay the same. Okay, for portable pumps, it's much less common that that's the case. It's not a big deal. It's not a bad thing, but you just may be in less control of the cycle speed. So if that's something that you know is really important to you, then just kind of make that note there. A few pumps that do let you choose the cycle speed are the Ardo Alyssa. This one is very consistent and a really high quality pump. Any pumps that are dual motor will also let you, for the most part, pick a cycle speed and stay there. I'm going to have to double check some of those now that I just said that. Well, yeah, I know this one is set. I think this one is pretty set too. So what else? Oh, the Genie Advanced. This one has 3 different cycle speeds for you to choose from, which is a great feature in my opinion. So while you can't specifically choose the number of cycles you want to do, you have slow, faster, and fastest, kind of give you a range. Again, it's still tied to the vacuum, but it will give you a range of speeds to choose from. That's a pretty unique feature on that one. The Freeme pumps are really interesting. I don't see them a ton anymore, but you can adjust the speeds kind of separate from the suction as well. For the most part, I think that covers it for cycle speed. I'd love to talk more about cycle speed. I love teaching the metrics of breast pumps and the ones that matter and the ones that don't. Actually, we have a course for professionals. If you're a lactation professional and you want to learn more about the science of breast pumps, flange sizing, and how to practically support pumping families, there's a link down in the description for some courses there. But a lot of this information too is available inside for the professionals course, of course, but also inside of our program that we do for working moms. So again, I usually try and simplify it so it doesn't like explode your brain, because it can get really complicated. But cycle speed, there you go. Let's do a quick size and weight, which might be obvious, but I think when you compare them next to each other, you can get a better sense of that. So let's start with the heaviest and we'll go down to the smallest. Okay, size and weight. The smallest one is this little Similary E1. It's so tiny, very, very tiny. The Baby Buddha is also a very small pump. LV Stride, that motor is quite small too. Free Me Rose, Similary P1. Spectra 9 is actually a pretty small little pump as well. Motif Duo, Amita Maya Plus Joy, Eye Care, Ardo Alyssa, Pumpables Genie Advance, Zomi, those were very similar. And CVI, this one's a little heavier than you'd think. Well, this one probably should have been. Sorry, Medela Freestyle Flex, you can live right there. Philips Advent, the Medela Swing Maxi, and CVI. Probably should have double checked if this one does not have a battery. If you have to use it plugged in, no, I think it has a battery. This is the kind of stuff I swear I would mix up in my life. But and then a lot of the dual motor pumps often are a little bit bigger. The Duet, the Dual Compact. I mean, this one was actually, that one's probably heavier. Put that one at the top there. So size and weight, if that's something that's important to you. I'm going to leave them set up like this too while we talk about functionality. So I think it's really important to look at how you use the pumps and kind of some of the features that come with that. I love it when they have lanyards, all right? And a lot of pumps are putting lanyards on their devices now, which is great. This one's a bit heavy. I'm not sure I'd wear that around my neck, but something like this, you absolutely could be a little bit more hands-free if you wanted to. The LV Stride obviously comes with cups there. The Medela Freestyle Flex is now coming with cups as well. So it's not even, you don't even have the option of a flange. It is a hands-free cup option. However, this does not have a lanyard. It looks like it has a lanyard, but it's fake and I cannot wear that. So I'm not sure what the purpose of that was, but do better. The Amita Maya also has a very short non-functional lanyard as well. The Ardo Alyssa, the Genie Advance has a great lanyard and it even has adjustable straps, which is really, really, really cool. This one has a clip as well. So if some of them don't have a lanyard but do have a clip, actually not that many of them, the LV Stride has a clip, I thought. Ardo Alyssa does come with a lanyard and like a little sticky thing that you stick to the back. I'm not sure I would trust this nice expensive pump on a sticky lanyard there. But those are just some important features to look at. I also like to know, can you fit it in a pocket, in a scrub top? I really like the bags from Mimi and Pal. They make specific, just like a fanny pack bag. Actually, I'm gonna grab one for you. This is an older version one, and I've got several of the new ones in the back because they are so cute. But having a lanyard or a fanny pack can really help you carry your pump around, especially if you want to be more mobile while you're using it. So you could do something like that. I think I actually did a video where I put, let's do a bigger one in here. I put a lot of the breast pumps in here to see which ones would fit. They have little holes for the tubing to come out. Really, really functional. So, you know, if you are working in healthcare and you want to know which ones fit in a scrub top, let me know and maybe we can do a fun little video and try some of those. But I think kind of looking at the functionality of these is important. There's a few that have Bluetooth capabilities that have some memory functions as well. The Ardo Alyssa is one I know that has power. It has like a power pumping mode, so you can just leave it on and it will turn on and off. It also has some memory functions. I know the Pumpables Genie Advance has some memory function as well. I believe this Medela Freestyle Flex has an app you can connect it to, just like for tracking. But it doesn't do a lot more than that, I don't think. I think the Motif Duo has some memory functions. The Amita might as well. So there are just some extra features that you might look into if you're considering a portable pump, which are important to you, which matter. Okay, so when you're looking at a pump, you have suction, right? Single, double, minimum, maximum. We didn't even talk about minimum suction yet. We don't have time in this video, but some of these pumps have really high minimum suction. So if you're sensitive and you want a pump that's not that can give you some lower levels to play on, that's something to consider too. But beyond suction, you have cycle speeds, right? Which is an important part of getting a pump to work well for you. And then we also have the patterns that these pumps are doing. So several of these pumps have multiple pattern styles that you can do. I believe the iCare, some of these NCVI ones as well, have different patterns. So you can do just a stimulation, you can do an expression, and then they have some alternate ones. Alyssa, I think, does as well. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Baby Buddha has an extra one. They have their classic Baby Buddha mode where it does like 10 bursts and then a really large one. But they also just updated it to have a more regular mode, which I was very grateful for. So some of these have different patterns for you to try as well to see what you respond to best, what you like, what works well for you. Like I said, that's an alternating pattern, just standard. So there's a lot to consider when you're kind of comparing these pumps together. If you are new to pumping and you're looking for a pump, don't overthink it. Like, this video probably had way too much information for you. In my Facebook group where we talk about reviews a lot, you can go in and ask more simple questions if you want. But a lot of those people in there really like to dive into the data and comparing too, which is why we do stuff like this. Okay. Let me arrange these by favorites from my Facebook group. If you're curious to see what some of their favorites were, I will do a quick change around. Be right back. Okay, so here's what my breast pump group said were some of their favorites. The number one favorite was the Baby Buddha. About 28% of people chose that one. And I think this one is definitely more popular since they came out with an update and they left their standard Baby Buddha crazy mode, which they were known for, but they also added a regular stimulation mode, which is where it starts. This pump is known to be very strong. It's very small and it lasts a long time. So I'm not surprised that that was number one. Pretty close behind it was the Genie Advanced. This one was about 23% of users chose that one. Probably one of my personal favorites as well. The LV Stride came in next at 12%. So you can see that these two pumps were high. They were high. Okay, very clear winners. The LV Stride was about 12%. Zomi was not far behind. The Zomi 2 is another popular pump that I see. Spectra 9 was next, as well as the Spectra Dual Compact. And it's funny because if you're talking about more traditional like tabletop pumps, the Spectra 1 or 2 are probably some of the most popular pumps in that category. These ones are not as highly liked, if I can say that. Spectra 9 is not really like the S1. So it's an okay portable pump, but it's not the same in the same category, if that makes sense. And then the Dual Compact is it's a beautiful, it has fast cycle speeds and stimulation mode, but that slow speed in expression mode, I think turns people off a little bit. It is very slow. The Medela Freestyle Flex, now we're down to like 3% of voters. Again, this is a nice little pump. It does tend to die pretty often, so make sure you buy it from a place that will honor the warranty. But a fine option. The Alyssa was at 2%. I actually really like this pump. I think when I rate them, it will be a little bit higher, but that was a common one. This iCare one from Amazon, again, fairly new. I haven't used this one a ton, but does seem to be popular. NCVI pumps, again, very reasonably priced. Some of the lowest priced pumps have really strong suction as well. Some users really did like those. These actually all right here were all tied kind of at the bottom. Well, these ones were definitely at the bottom, but these ones were all kind of like 1%. So either they're not that popular or I see a lot of these from insurance. So just people are using them. Sometimes that's the only pump they've ever used and they're like, it was fine. I'll vote for the pump I've only ever used. So NCVI, like I said, it's newer. Philips Advent, I feel like is probably a high quality pump. We just don't see it very often. Medela Swing Maxi, Motif Duo, again, the gray one is the current one and not going to be high on my list either. Amita Joy is probably not high on my list either. And I think this one is just not known very well. The Similary P1 users that have used it have liked it though. And then pumps that got 0 or near 0 votes were the Annabella. Again, I think this pump is very unique. I don't know if you've ever, well, I did another video with this pump on the channel, but it has just your standard suction, but it also has this funny little tongue movement. So very unique. Again, we haven't had a ton of users that have used that yet, so I'm not surprised that it scored pretty low. Freemy ones, again, those are a little bit old. The Duet actually surprised me. I actually had very little votes for the Duet from Legendary Milk. It's a nice little dual motor pump. Some, funny things, sometimes the screen pops off a little bit and that's no good, but Anyway, it was interesting to see that one that low on their list. The Unimom Minuet, I know we talked about that very first and it hasn't been on any of the other lists, but this pump is very unique, has different patterns on different suction levels. Very interesting pump. If you want more information on this, I'm going to have to do a separate video because it didn't really fit into the standard categories because of how unique the patterns and things like that are. So that's what my group said. I think this is pretty close to how I would do it as well. I actually do, these little similarity pumps are interesting. I'm going to do another video talking about all of the similarity pumps because I don't see them very often, but I do think they are pretty high quality. Yeah, sorry, the MyJoy is still near the bottom of my list, as is the Duo and the Swing. So those are pretty low on my list as well. I actually haven't used the Advent a ton, but it seems like a high quality pump. So I'm glad to be seeing that. The NCVI pumps, both of them, I don't really have a problem with as well. So there we go. I think pumps that I find myself not recommending very often are the Spectra 9. I don't know. It's okay, I guess, but it's okay. I don't know. The Spectra Dual Compact 2 is kind of on like a list for me. Again, that expression mode just drives me nuts. So I do like the Freestyle Flex, except for I wish that it lasted a little bit longer. I don't love that it only comes with cups now because cups are tricky to use, especially for new users. So I wish it still had those more traditional flans, although it does have faster cycle speeds, which I really like. So it's all right. The iCare, again, I haven't used this very much, but I've been really impressed with it so far. Ardo Alyssa, I really like. The LV Stride for me is usually a pass. I'm actually going to put that down here because I don't know. The suction is so unique and it's very gentle, but I don't know. I don't have to justify it. This is my channel, okay? It's not my favorite. Okay, these are some of my personal favorites again, and my favorites don't necessarily matter a ton because what is most important to you is, do you have a pump that meets your needs? And sometimes that's cost. And if the only option for you is something from your insurance, even if it's lower on my list, don't feel bad about that. Or if you used the Amita Maya Joy and it worked really well for you, please do not feel any sense of, wow, I did something wrong or anything. It's just not one that I recommend very often. But again, everyone is so different. So this is only my opinion. Take it for what it's worth, which is just the opinion of me. So whatever. Yeah, I think the iCare similarity pumps, Zomi to Ardo Alyssa, and then these two are no surprise that these are some of my favorites. Okay. And since Baby Buddha did do that update and make a more normal stimulation mode, that was my biggest complaint with this pump for a really, really long time. It just ripped your nipples off right from the get-go, and I didn't love that. Really happy that they made that adjustment. So it's a tricky choice for me. I still really like the Genie Advanced because it has a few different options for cycle speeds in the expression mode. I like it when you get to be able to choose a little bit more. It is definitely bigger and a little heavier, okay? It does have a clip, which is nice, and a lanyard, but again, it is bigger. But I tend to like pumps that have a few more options for you to choose from, just to make sure you can find what you're looking for. So these two are very difficult for me to choose. And again, it just depends on which feature is most important to you. But still some of my favorite pumps. Okay, we made it. Whew. Tell me what you think. Tell me your opinions on some of these pumps. Do you disagree with some of the ways that we rated them? Do you want to add some thoughts on a particular pump? The comment section of this video is going to be so fun. So go down there and read other people's comments because, again, this is my opinion and I'm testing them really objectively. There's a difference when users are actually using them. And I've been in the breast pump space for over 5 years now. We've seen lots of pumps come and go. Again, we have over 100 back in the closet right there. And I didn't even include all the portable pumps. I had to really pick and choose the ones that we're seeing most often now. So tell me what you think. What pumps do you like? How do we help moms make better decisions that work really well for them, especially when the market is so saturated? So, all right, there's some freebies, links, extra comments, things down below in the description, everything you need. If you want some help, if you want to work with me personally and you're a pumping working mom, there's an application for that as well down below. All right, good luck to you and happy pumping. Oh my gosh, we made it through. I'm never doing that again. All right. I'm going to lunch.